Fine. Inline function, it is also a member function. It is a member function where the function call is replaced by the function code or body of the function. This means that whenever you make a call to the function, what happens is the control actually goes from the point of call. If you are making a call to the function, it goes to the function body, okay, and then it gets executed. The function gets executed at its place. It has to go. Say, for example, the function might be somewhere in the memory, at some part of the memory, and you make a call to the function. Okay, so the control transfers, or it goes in search of that function, and that code or that the task whatever the function has, that gets executed at its place. Usually it goes and executes at its place. If I include a keyword called inline for the function, then what happens is the function itself will come to your place and the work will be done at your place of call or at the point of function call. Wherever you make a call to the function along with its code. When I say code, it is nothing but those statements inside the function or the task which is being assigned to the function. Entire thing, it will come to the point where you have made a call, and it executes the function, or we call it as expands those lines. We call execution, or it expands at the point of function call. By doing so, the program becomes faster in execution. It will be very much fast in execution. It will be very much fast in execution. That is what it happens. Okay. One more thing is, we have seen that a function, that is, whenever you are writing the member function of a class, for example, I will share this part here. That is, so I've shared here. You can have the member function. I have three functions here: accept, add, display. All right. What I do is, I will just say here, I will write the prototype of the function. That is prototype, or what we call as the definition of the function add. And there is one more function called display. I have written okay. So I have three functions in the class. Please observe this carefully. The class XYZ, this is the body, this is the opening flower bracket, and this is the closing flower bracket. This is the class. I have three functions: accept, add, and display. You can see that the function accept, the body of the function accept, or the definition, or nothing but the task which is assigned to this function, is very much inside the class. The definition is very much inside the class. But the function add and the function display, the body of these classes are outside the class. It is defined outside the class. Okay. So if you want to define it, we have to link the function with the class name. So XYZ : that is scope resolution operator. For this also, for this display function also, we do the same thing: XYZ scope resolution operator, then display. Right. So what you observe here, we observe that there is one function inside the class and two functions which are defined outside the class. But all the three belongs to the class XYZ. All right. When you make a call here, you're making a call m.accept. So the object m is making a call to accept. The control runs, or it goes to the class, so in search of the accept function, and the work is done inside that is there itself at that spot. Okay. When you call m.add, that is when the object makes a call to the function add, then also it is the same thing. That is the control from this point. This is the point of function call. From there, the control runs into the class. We don't know where the function add is located in the memory. Some area in the memory of the computer, the function add may be at some place. It goes to that place, and that is the work will be executed at its place, and then after executing, the control comes back or returns back to the point where it was called. So what did you observe here? You saw that there was some wastage of time. It was waste of time. It took more time for that, for it to go and search for that function. Okay, that was the time delay, and then the function got executed at its place. Then the control was returned back. Okay, right? So what we will do here is we will make we will add, see, in the definition, in the function definition, there are three functions. In the function definition here, we will use, while defining the function, we will just define it like this: in line. We will prefix. What do you mean by prefixing? Means before you write the function definition, we use the word called inline. We use the keyword called inline. Okay, we use the keyword called inline, and then this function add. For this function, I have used the keyword called inline. I have prefixed it. When I prefix the word inline, this function, which function? Add function, becomes an inline function. How do you make a member function to be called as an inline function? Just by prefixing the word inline. Just by prefixing the word inline. Okay, it becomes an inline function. Okay, getting it? That is how we do for an inline function. Now what happens here? Again, we observe the program flow. When you make a call to the function accept, the control goes to its place. It goes to the function that is accept of. Wherever wherever you find the accept function, it goes there, and the statements are executed, and the control returns back. When you make a call to the function add, it goes in search of the member function inline, that is a member function add. Okay, here also I have to use the word called inline. Inline. I have to prefix it. So it goes in search of, here it doesn't go in search of add. When this object is making a call to the function add, the control will not go to its place. Instead, the function itself, that is the add function with its code, with its code, in the sense the task, or with its statement in its body, the entire code is substituted or expands at the point of function call. The function itself will come to its place, to this place, and it executes. So what you will have here, you will have C is equal to A plus B. That is, C value is calculated at this point. The function itself will come here and get expands. Right? And next, we have one more function, m.display. That is, this object m is making a call to display, the function display. The control goes to display, and then it executes, and then it comes back. Right? Got it? Okay, fine. If you have understood so much, now, is it possible for all the functions to make it as inline? For example, I have made only this function add as inline. I have made only add as inline function. What about display? You want to make this as also as an inline function? Try. I'll just give the word called inline for this function also, display. Okay, when I do that in the prototype, I have to do the same thing. That is, I have to prefix the word inline for this function display also. Now, just by prefixing the word inline, does this function display becomes an inline? Okay, that is one question which arises to us. Yes, you can make all the functions on inline. You can keep on adding the word called inline or prefixing the word called inline, and you can keep on calling them as inline function. It is only a request to the compiler. You are just asking the compiler to consider these functions as inline. You are putting a request to consider. You are putting a request to whom? You are putting a request to the compiler, asking the compiler to consider this function, that is add and display, as inline function. But ultimately, it is left to the compiler decision. It is left to the compiler decision whether to consider those functions, all the functions, as inline or just to reject. Then which and all functions does the compiler consider as inline function, and which functions are rejected? Those functions which have one line or two line, one or two statements, line in the sense statements, one or two statements, then those may be considered as inline function. That is a short program, SHORT, short. A short program can be considered as inline function. That is, short program can be considered as inline function. That is one or two lines, maximum one or two. It is always best to have one line, single line. But suppose I will have two or three lines here. For example, display, I will include two more lines. I'll have one local variable. I'll create a local variable here, int g comma h. I'll create two variables here, g comma h, right? And then for h, I'll give a value for it. H is equal to 5. H is equal to 5. Okay. Then I say g is equal to h. Right? I can give the local variables inside the function. It is not the part of the class. This is limited, or it is limited only to that particular function. Outside the function, you will not know what is g, what is h. It will take its birth inside the function, and it will get lost only inside the function itself. You cannot see it outside. Those are local variables. I've just created two variables and I have assigned some value. That's it. Purpose is, I have just made this function display a large one, not a short program, a long program with including 4 lines. Totally, you see there are 4 lines in this function called display, right? But still, even after having 4 lines, I have only requested the function display to be inline. Okay, I put a request to the compiler to consider this function as inline function, but the compiler will not accept it because it is not a short program. It is a lengthy program that is having 4 lines. So this will not be considered as inline function. When it doesn't consider this as inline function, what happens? Here, when you make a call, when this object makes a call to the function called display, the control, it will go to the function called display, and then at its place, it is this, all the statements happens at the point, or that is at the function where it was placed in the memory. Somewhere in the memory, it goes to that location. Every job or all the activities, whatever this function has, all will be done at its place, and then the control will come back. So it takes more time. But whereas add, you see this function add, the object m is making a call to the function add. Here what happens? The control will not go in search of add. Instead, the function add itself, with its code, it has only one single statement. With its code, it will be expanded at the point of function call. It will be expanded, or it will be executed at the point of function call. Okay, so this is inline function. It will be faster in execution. One more thing to add. You observe this class here, that is the body of the class. How many functions you find? Accept, add, and display. There are 3 functions. When the what definition of the function, when the definition of the functions are defined outside the class, then it is compulsory or it is mandatory to provide the word called inline, or to prefix the word called inline, to make those functions as inline function. But by default, if the function has its body, if the function has its body, or if it is defined inside the class, you see add is defined outside the class, display is defined outside the class, whereas accept function is defined inside the class. By default, if it has only 1 line or 2 lines, we'll take it as 1 line itself here. We'll make it as 1 line for accept, just accepting A and B value. We have only 1 statement. So if it has like this, then even without including the word called inline, this accept function is considered to be inline function. That is, all short programs, all the short programs which are defined inside the class, I'll type it here, all the short member function, all the short member functions, okay, which are defined inside the class are by default considered as inline function. Got it? If they are short programs, by default they are taken as, or they are granted as inline function, even if you don't include the word inline. If you include a word inline, nothing is going to happen. If you just include a word inline for the void or accept function, then you are just putting a request. Even if you don't request also, it will be taken as inline function if it is short program, or sorry, short the code. If it is a short member function, then automatically by default it will be considered as inline, though you don't give the word called inline. But if you give inline, you're just putting a request. Anyhow, the job will be automatically done for you. But you doubt, if you doubt and if you want to give the word called inline or prefix the word called inline, it's welcome. Understood? I hope inline function is clear to you. Any doubt, feel free to ask, right? Got it? We'll just go back to the definition of, or the features of inline function. Have a look here. Inline function, the member function whose function call, that is the point of function, that is the point of call to the function, where you make a call to the function. Usually we make a call to the function in the void main, program. So we make a call. At that point itself, the function call is replaced by the function code or the body of the function. Such a function or such an activity is called as inline function. A function defined inside a class is by default inline function. Okay, but not all the functions which are defined inside a class. No. If it is short program, if it is a short function, if it is a short function having 1 or 2 lines, maximum 1 or 2 lines, by default they are considered as inline, though you don't include the word called inline. That is, you are not prefixing the word called inline. It is considered to be inline function if it is short function. Then what are the features of inline function? The inline function must be declared as member function. Of course, you have to, the inline function has to be a member function of the class, whether it is inside or whether it is outside the class. It should be the part of the class. It is defined outside the class with the keyword inline. That is, the functions which are defined outside the class, you have to prefix the keyword called inline. you will find the function. If you find a function defined outside the class with the keyword inline, prefixing the keyword inline, then that is one of the feature of inline function. Next, only small and simple functions are made inline. That is what I told you as short functions with 1 or 2 lines. Only those are made as inline. Inline functions executed faster than normal function because you are saving the time. The code itself is replaced, or it has been expanded at the point of function call. That is the reason it is faster. The memory usage is more. Why it is more? The memory usage is more, since if a program calls an inline function many times, the code is replaced by the call. That means that you keep on making a call. If you call the same function 3 or 4 times, the code has to come from there and here. That is from that place, it has to come and get executed at this place, at the place where you are calling. If it keeps on happening 3 or 4 times, then the memory usage is more. It will be using more memory. The memory for the main program, okay, and the memory for the function. Say for example, the memory of the function is 10 KB, kilobytes. If you call 3 times, 10 into 3, it will be 30 KB. 30 KB of memory will be just used for its call. That is the memory usage. Next, the advantages of inline function are: inline functions are small in size and compact, very clear and very small in size. That is one advantage, right? Second point is inline functions are executed faster than other function because the code itself is getting replaced. Third point is efficient code can be generated. So when you are writing the code, you can write very efficiently. The code can be generated very easily, and readability of the program is increased. Whenever you want to understand the program, the readability of the program is increased. You can easily understand the program. The drawbacks or the disadvantages of the inline function is the size of the executable file increases and requires more memory. Only thing is it requires more memory because the function code has to be replaced again here. That the space occupied by the function will be at some place in the memory. When you make a call, the entire code comes here, the function comes to your place and it expands. The same amount of memory is used here at your place also. That is why it increases the memory size. And in the examination for 3 marks, many times they keep on asking you this question, that is, inline functions may not work at which point, at which circumstances the inline function may not work. Okay, of the 4 points, whatever it is given here, at least answer 3, you'll be able to get 3 marks. It's disconnecting issues. How many minutes? Okay. No network. Okay. Fine. If the function definition is long or complicated, if that is when the inline function may not work. As I told you, if the statements, if the number of statements are more in the function, though you have put a request as inline, it might not be considered as inline function. So for lengthier the statements of the program or of the function will not be treated as inline. If it contains looping construct, that is, if an inline function has any kind of loop, either for loop, while loop, or do while, any kind of loop, then even that particular function is not treated as inline function. Okay. Next, if it is recursive, that is, you keep on making a call itself. Recursive function means.
Sir.
So
can you tell again the
if it contains looping construct, that is nothing but if it has any looping statement, for loop, while loop, or do while loop, then also the function, that is inline function, may not act as inline function. Though you have given a word inline, if the function has any looping statement or looping construct, it will not be working as an inline function. It works as an, or it automatically turns as an ordinary function. And next is if the function is a recursive, that is if the function is making a call to itself, then also such function are not considered or not treated as inline function. And if a function has a switch statement or a jumping statement like goto statements, in that case also the function will not be considered as inline function. Though you have given the word called inline, it will not be treated as, the compiler will not treat it as inline function. I hope that was clear. You just have a look here. This is an lab, that is practical example. For your lab, you have this program, that is finding the cube of a number using inline function. Very simple program. Whoever gets this function, they'll be finishing it very fast and they'll be just working out in the examination. So I have just taken here class assign. There's a name what I have given to the class, private int n. Okay, when for the practicals, even if you miss private, by default the variables will be considered as private. Get data, you have a semicolon. What does semicolon indicate? It is the prototype of the function or the declaration of the function. The definition, that is the task, will be outside the class. That is what it means. You have get data function and you have cube. There's two functions, get data and cube. Okay, and you have the definition of the get data. It is here. You are taking the value for, you are reading the value for n, and there is one more function as cube. It is put, you have put a request making it as inline function. You are making it as an inline function by prefixing the word called inline. Then you have the cube is equal to n into n into n. That is the value of n. It is multiplied 3 times and you're displaying their output. See the main program. You have an object called A. A is an object of the class assign. The object A makes a call to get data. So the control goes inside the class and then it is reading the value for n and comes back. Now you're making a call to cube. Now the control will not go. Instead, the function itself will be replaced at this point. Okay, that is an inline function. Get ch stops the main function and program ends. You see the without bracket, the program ends.